good morning. Welcome to Crypto and Coffee. I'm your host, the Data Lord, and you're watching Decentralized TV. We talk about crypto, we drink about coffee, and we have an interesting show today. So Jaime is off fighting ninjas. You might be wondering what happened there. Well, it involves SPF, a bottle of vodka, and a pig wearing lipstick. I can't talk about it, but hope Jaime's doing okay. Other than that, I'm doing okay. I hope you're doing okay. So let's take a look at the market, shall we? So it looks like the overall market cap is steadily growing. People are starting to buy back in, thinking that maybe it's a good time to enter the market. So that's good to hear across the board. Looking at the 7-day on Bitcoin, we're still pulling back a little bit. We're still under 27K, and that's a good time to DCA here on DCA Friday. So that's good news for everyone who does do DCA. And honestly, there will be a day where we look at any Bitcoin under 30K and we're like, man, my mouth is dripping with that juice. I'm thirsty, But Ethereum, copycat, same thing. It just does whatever Bitcoin's doing, but to a lesser extent. XRP, still no big news there. Same with Cardano, same with Dogecoin, but that's okay. If you were to look all the way at Litecoin, we have had a interesting pump this week. So, big news came out that Litecoin now supports, ordinals. Litecoin now supports Lightning Network, and those are big deals for Litecoin because it does have really low transaction fees. It's really cheap and reasonable to use, and I think that a lot of people will benefit from using Litecoin transactionally. So let's see what's going on in our charts. So, that Litecoin I was talking about here, it's doing this thing right now where we're flirting with some lines, right? So like 94 is sort of a support line, or for us it's a resistance. We got knocked back off of it, and the bottom of the channel here is like $89. So what I expect to happen is for us to make our way under this 89, just so people can grab another bag and then move on up. But who knows what we'll see here. Either way, if you look at the big picture on Litecoin with the halving coming up, we have a lot of upward movement with where we're at right here. So just pay attention to that. If you're interested in grabbing some altcoin positions, even with where it's at today, you're not going to hurt yourself with it with this much upside. But I would say if you're going to enter a position with Litecoin, kind of doing a bit of a DCA on it is probably smart. Do step ladder buys if you don't want to lock in one specific position, and you might be able to scoop some more if it goes lower. But I really do think that we're going to punch upward quick, and we probably have another 4 weeks before that's gonna happen big, but no promises to anyone. So just don't be caught flat-footed is my only point, right? So also these are the other ones I'm major watching right now. So if we do look over at Bitcoin, you'll see what I was talking about. Like we have all these key levels, but this really is the accumulation zone with where we're at right now. So like anything under like 26,800 is probably a good pickup. So you've seen a few wicks recently down into this zone. So if you were to pick anything up there, that's probably the cheapest you're going to get it, unless some black swan happens and Bitcoin does punch to lower lows. But I personally don't see that happening. So not financial advice. Do what you're going to do. Do what you're going to do. You might ask, hey, isn't helium a crap coin? Well, kind of, yeah, it is. But the reason I'm paying attention to it is because I have a lot of it. I have a big bag of this just from mining helium. So I'm waiting for it to punch to higher highs, but who knows? It's going to be some some trashy altcoin pump. Um, and Doge, I would pay attention to Doge too, because Doge and Litecoin are paired, being on the same script algorithm. So whenever we see Litecoin pump, don't be shocked if Doge follows soon after, because the same miners have really big bags of both. And so, like, this is personally my accumulation zone. You've seen us tap into this a few times with some sharp wicks. So um, if you can pick up anything under, as far as what I'm looking at, 0.0718, anything under 0.0718 is probably a good scoop. So, um, yeah, what do you think of that chart? Crypto or Cryptuber, let me know what chart you're talking about, and I'll comment on it. Oh, you mean helium? Okay, yeah. So let's talk about this real quick. So I know more about helium than I care to know, but basically everything that happened here, there was a really big wireless company that was throwing some big money into it. Jaime can talk about it in depth. So ask about it on Monday when he's on stream. But basically, all of this here, a really big investor bought a whole bunch of money on that, right? And when it was found out that that happened around the same time, what also happened was Binance also screwed up. Basically, Helium dropped a new token, and what Binance had done was they had not paid attention to the fact that it was a different token that Helium was also making, and so they increased the volume um, of supply of HNT on the network, or on Binance. So people were basically buying coins that they didn't have. So they like rallied this whole thing, selling coins that weren't HNT, and then when that was found out, it took a big old dump. And then right around that same time, Helium also decided to come out with like their 5G mesh network, and to make a very small amount of the rewards go to people supporting LoRaWAN, and a very large amount of the rewards go to people supporting 5G. So when that happened, a lot of people lost confidence in Helium's ability to be honest with their community. So I don't know if there's more to it than that, but that was a lot of drama for one network to have in a short time frame, dude. So uh, I don't think it's beyond repair. I think there is a functionality there. I personally was trying to build some applications and even some solutions on top of Helium. I was looking at different devices that could do things like be a tracking dog collar that was cheap and whatnot. But what I found was the frame rate was too low. So basically, whenever you get data back from the Helium network for a lot of applications, like for example, hey, my dog, got out of the yard. Um, the resolution of the data was too poor. It wasn't good enough to actually solve any problems. So and there was no ability to increase the frame rate without going through complete hardware manufacturing, and there was no other hardware on the market to get into that. So that's my whole foray into Helium and trying to actually build on their network. I'm sure there's solutions, but IoT isn't really having a big problem anyway. So it's kind of solving a problem that I don't think people are having. So, but what do I know? Good question. So let's just pay attention to Dogecoin. You have some opportunities here with a lot of upside as well. And whenever Litecoin pumps in June, I'm expecting, I really do see Dogecoin moving up with significant upward movement. And like if we hit anywhere in this range here, like you can see we've had little mini pumps in that area. Even here, that's 100%. If we hit here, that's 176%. If we hit up here, that's 300%. So there's a lot of upside on Litecoin, and then we'll be able to roll that over to Dogecoin probably. So no dog pun intended. So yeah. Anyways, hope everyone's doing great. I want to say what's up to the squad up in here. So we got Boss Don up in the house. I see you, brother. DCI Fridays as usual. We got Just Bossy, girl. I appreciate you being faithful and true. Crypto Tuber holding down the fort. And then I see we got a bunch of other people in the stream. Go ahead and say what's up in the chat, and I'll give you a shout out because I love you. And I left something on the screen because Jaime's not here to take it off the screen. Dang it. Sorry, bro. My bad. Forgive me. Come on now. We're just here to have a good time and read about the news. So let's do that. Whip it and out. And my whole setup's different. I moved a bunch of crap around. So yeah, let's read this here though. So we have Ethereum Layer 2 Mantle Network merges with backer BitDAO. So I do think this is big news that might affect Ethereum pumping. It certainly will affect BitDAO. So BitDAO, a prominent decentralized autonomous network or organization known for its sizable treasury, announced a merger with Mantle Network on Ethereum Layer 2 solution, to which it formally provided funding. This consolidation was done following the approval of governance proposal from BitDAO community members titled BIP 21. The merger amalgamates BitDAO's governance framework and treasury with the technical prowess of Mantle Network, thereby creating a newly unified ecosystem. The primary aim to refine branding, token economics, and create a unified product focus, according to a press release. So in line with this, BitDAO's governance token will undergo a rebranding, transitioning from BIT to a new identity. I mean, that's probably a good idea, honestly. If that's your ticker, BIT, you're confusing people. like everything's bit something in crypto. To a new identity. Mantle, represented by the ticker symbol MNT, which is what dogs do in the dog park. They mount each other. With this consolidation, Mantle Network developers inherit almost 300 million in stablecoin reserves and over 270,000 Ethereum, which is worth over 485 million. Yeah, that's not a bad chunk of change. From BitDAO, the announcement said, this capital will play a pivotal role in funding the expansion and broader adoption of Mantle Network. We are thrilled to witness the formal dedication of the Mantle ecosystem, led by an exemplary case of BitDAO's governance, said Arjun Kelsey, head of ecosystem at Mantle. So inheriting BitDAO's Mantle will usher in phase 2 of Mantle Network's testnet within the month of May. So they're moving quick. They're not messing around. Literally this month they're doing this. Mantle Network will progress into the second phase of its testnet, codenamed Ringwood. Nice. In May, this phase will introduce planned technical advancements to the network. Among these advancements, key features including the integration of fraud proofs to enhance security, the onboarding of multi-party computation. That's cool stuff. Validator node. This is basically distributed computing. So a bunch of people with different computers can kind of be mining to the network, and that computing power can be rented out, which is pretty neat. Data availability nodes and the initiation of external audits on the code base. That's great. And honestly, I think this needs to happen way more often. External groups need to be auditing code. That way you can't pay them off and hide things that are clearly snakes in the grass. So I think that's really good, actually, for the Mantle Network. So MNT, just pay attention to the price action there. Robbie T, top of the morning to you. I see you, brother. So let's talk about this here. So you know how the Biden administration did say that they wanted to basically heavily tax crypto miners. So the CEO of Marathon saying that's not going to fly. Let's read what his take is on this. So Marathon Digital CEO Fred Thal argued that a proposed tax on the U.S. Bitcoin miners would drive the industry offshore. Yeah, I think that's probably true. So, the administration of the U.S. President Joe Biden recently announced a proposal to tax American Bitcoin miners. But that policy approach, if implemented, will drive mining firms outside the country and won't raise the intended funds, according to Marathon Digital's chief executive officer. Bitcoin miners will just leave the U.S., which is really what they're trying to do. They're trying to get CEO Fred Thal saying that the Biden administration wants Bitcoin miners to go to other countries because Bitcoin competes with the U.S. dollar in the Biden administration's mindset. So, CEO Fred Thal said in an interview on the sidelines of the Bitcoin 2023 conference in Miami, which I know we had some people on our stream who were there. So, if you were there, let us know. Shout outs. Thale went on to contend that a mining tax wouldn't result in more available renewable power. It wouldn't. They'd just leave. Like it's literally what happened. Yo, Kobeg, what's up, brother? I see you. Hope you're doing well. Miners have mostly escaped the regulatory scrutiny that has targeted crypto exchanges in the country, including Binance and Coinbase. The company does, however, face headwinds from other sectors of the economy. Yeah, that's probably true. So one interest that's at play is the banking lobby. They don't want the crypto industry, which is disintermediating the banking industry, basically taking the banks out of the middle. Because the banks make a lot of money being the gatekeepers in the middle, and crypto challenges that entire paradigm, right? Saying that some companies that run gas-fired power plants had also been hostile. Bitcoin mining in Texas specifically removes the need for peaker plants, and so it's impacting their business negatively. So, if they can stop Bitcoin mining in Texas, guess what? The peaker plants are back in business. Yeah, what the hell's a peaker plant? Let's look at that. What are you? A peaker plant. Boop boop. Let's see. Phasing out peaking power plants known as peaker plants. Oh, I see. They basically handle peak power. It looks like so. Well, and I totally screwed that up. I clicked the wrong thing. Why? Come back. I love you. Where did that go? Where did you go, Cotton Eye Joe? Where did you come from? Where did you go? Where did you come from? Here you go. Here you go. Thiel confirmed that the company had received a subpoena from the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission last month, but said it didn't indicate anything more than a request for information. Okay, well, let's keep it that way. A subpoena simply means people want information. That's true. That doesn't mean we're necessarily under investigation. It doesn't mean necessarily we're being accused of anything. They're simply asking for it. So I think this affects everyone here. The Biden admin on Bitcoin. So Thiel said he believed there was a broader initiative within the administration to target the Bitcoin economy, including miners. While I'm not going to say so far as to say that they want to kill Bitcoin, they want to make it very difficult for people to operate, he said, adding that the company is already looking to grow outside of the country. Marathon just announced a new project in Abu Dhabi, and it's also actively looking at new initiatives around the world in places like Paraguay, said Thiel. They built a hydro facility together with Brazil. Paraguay uses less than half of the electricity that is their share, and if they could monetize it, that'd be great. So what he's saying is like, look, hydroelectric, you don't have a lot of say in how much water is going to be there, right? And you have to let that water through. And when you have to let that water through, gravity's doing its thing and it's spinning something, making electricity. And sometimes there's way more electricity than you actually need in that instance, right? And so if you have way more electricity than you actually need and you don't put it anywhere, it has to be wasted off as heat. There's no good way around it, right? And so wouldn't it be better if instead of wasting that off as heat, it was actually going to a purpose like, the Bitcoin network? So, I think that really, Bitcoin mining has the ability to be in some really ideal locations, right? Like you can You can put it in places where there's no demand otherwise, and so because you can do that, it doesn't have a huge data rate and it has a high power requirement. That's kind of a weird architectural standard. Typically, like for a data center, you have very high power requirements and very high data requirements. But with Bitcoin mining, you have that, kind of off kilt. You have it instead where it's very high power, but the data is not that much, and so you can get away with something like Starlink or satellite internet or something like that. So, and they probably have internet at places like Paraguay's um, hydro dam. So that ain't no problem. Anyway, Thale says there are reasons to be hopeful following a period of financial stress and consolidation in the Bitcoin mining sector. Now kind of come up, or we've kind of come through the worst part of the winter, and I think people are seeing Bitcoin price up. They're more optimistic. They're seeing that things are going in the right direction. And I mean, how are you feeling? Let us know in the chat too. Like, are you feeling like the whole Bitcoin, space is starting to get more positive again? We're kind of at least taking off a layer of our crypto coats, crypto winter coats. Let me know, because I'm personally kind of feeling like, yeah, things are starting to tip in the right direction. We went through some crazy stuff this bear market, man. Um, and I'm glad to have spent that time with you here on the internets. Cryptuber, I keep saying your name wrong. Cryptuber. Good morning, trading Astra on Mexi. Right on, dude. So, let's talk about video games, huh? So Square Enix, they make Final Fantasy and a lot of other games, but Final Fantasy is one of their claims to fame. And drinking coffee is mine. Who knows? They resolved to continue Web3. And I think this is big because they influence a lot of the gaming space in general. So let's take a look at this. The Japanese gaming giant Square Enix has reasserted its commitment to blockchain gaming, announcing it will continue. My head is itchy. Love that. It will continue to develop blockchain, Web3, and NFT games in the next 12 months. Let's go. So who knows? Maybe we're going to see some legit Square Enix NFT games. That could be cool. The firm which created Final Fantasy issued an end of fiscal year statement this month. Square Enix has faced a furious backlash from many gaming communities for its blockchain pivot, which it unveiled in early 2022. The company's turnover fell slightly over the past year from around 2.2 billion, that's not bad, at this time last year to about 2.5 billion. It lost almost 1,000 staff members in that same period. That sucks, man. But despite a lukewarm reception for its NFT related titles such as Symbiogenesis, cool, company said that it would continue to target Web3 growth. So let's take a look at this Symbiogenesis game. Oh, that was a terrible trailer. Didn't tell me anything about the game. Nice, guys. Good work. The firm called its blockchain business an initiative that will achieve further growth. I think so too, man. Like I can tell you just in my own line of work, we have to do these things called strategic initiatives pretty often. And when you're doing a strategic initiative, you're basically looking at like, how can the business today get into a better position so that tomorrow we have a leg over our competition, right? Like if we have more free time right now, it's sort of the whole like, Joseph in Egypt idea of like, if we have 7 years of plenty, let's store up in our silos. So when we have 7 years, of famine, we're gonna eat. Like we're gonna be okay. It's that idea, but it's like when we have a lot more time than usual, let's make sure we're in a position so that if our business does face, a big demand for NFT growth or Web3, some sort of innovation in that way, we're already in position to execute very well on it. And it takes good time to find people who know what they're doing with that, and even then to kind of get their chops around how you want to implement it. So I think this is very smart of them. It's forward looking for sure. It explained it wanted to become a pioneer, and that's what I was talking about. Like it makes you a pioneer, so you're leading above your competition in Web3 gaming, and would continue to carry out investment activities globally. The company also claimed that the acceleration of blockchain game development was one of its priorities. So they can clearly see there's money in this, right? And keep in mind too, the Japanese people are very pro crypto. Um, that being said, they also love, collecting, just as a culture. Like a lot of their games have a lot of like, rare loot drops and collection activities. And so this is very on target for the Japanese market. So, I think if you were to play like an MMORPG Final Fantasy game and there was drops that had NFTs on them, like you'd be kind of tight. You'd be lit on that because you could probably sell those on like OpenSea if you wanted to. So the firm also launched an NFT game as part of its long-running Million Arthur series. I'm not familiar with that series, so I can't speak on that. While this game has also been pillared by the international gaming community, Square Enix said that it was enjoying popularity. Okay, so apparently Million Arthur is popping. Square Enix said that more than 75% of the NFTs it issued for the game last month have been sold. Dude, that's not bad. That's some good turnover. 75% has been in trade. Some sets have already sold out. That's tight. Company said its title NFTs held the top place transaction ranking by item on the Line blockchain protocol. Okay. And the company said that also explained that its Symbiogenesis project was still under development with plans to sell about 10,000 NFT artworks. That's really cool. So, Square Enix, will blockchain gaming pivot succeed? The company has previously said that focusing on traditional forms of gaming would not be enough for the company to thrive in the future. The company's president and CEO, Yosuke Matsuda, has previously talked of Square Enix's desire to try its hand at providing autonomous game content. Masuda also spoke of his plans to launch a crypto asset, but an apparent downturn in the firm's fortunes could soon be set to spark a regime change that may influence the future of the Web3 related progress. So, Alex Becker, he's a big NFT guy. Remember when you were a kid and you played Mario 64 alongside 100 or hundreds of millions of others? Imagine if a special 1 to 5 limited Wario skin NFT. I clicked on it. Why? Dang, I clicked on it twice. Why? You guys gotta encourage me here. I'm struggling. 1 of 5 limited Wario skin NFTs dropped in the game that you could show in your wallet. How much would a collector pay for that? Yeah, this is why NFTs in games work. Yeah, that's true. Um, Also, what if not just a Wario skin? What if a Waluigi unlock dropped? That would sell for a lot because everyone's trying to get Waluigi up in Smash Bros. That's true. The demand for NFTs in gaming. Also, Codebug, if I could get a wah, I'd appreciate that. Wah! The demand for NFTs in gaming isn't there. That's what they say. Quite the opposite. There's a real opposition to it. Go on any gaming site, mention NFTs, and it won't be pretty. So, my comment on that, dude, is look, there's been people who've implemented NFTs in a scammy way, and like you're not going to stop that, right? Like scammers going to scam. This is nothing of the tech. If a tech is implemented in a way that's not cringy, if a tech is implemented in a way that's actually like serving the community, people are going to use it and they're going to like it and they're going to stop talking smack. But they're talking smack about it because they don't quite understand it, right? Like they're not picking it up. Wow! It was already on the way. Yeah, Codebug. He likes Waluigi, so we always joke when we play Smash Bros that like he can't pick his favorite character. So that's good. So in March, Masuda announced he would be stepping down from his role in June this year. Wow. His replacement, Takashi Kiri. What is that? Takashi Kiryu. I've never seen the last name Kiryu, but now you know. Previously worked at Dentsu Innovation Initiative, another firm with Web3 creds. Okay, so it might even be strategic that Masuda is stepping down so that a proper Web3 guy can pick it up. Dentsu struck a metaverse partnership deal with Microsoft last year. That's not bad. So, what do you think of this? Like, how's the crowd feeling on this Square Enix Web3? Like, do you want that? Are you hoping Square Enix does prove that like NFTs and gaming is actually tight and not whack? Yeah, it's quite a disappointment. I'll just have to play another Mario IPS for. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So here's our headline article for the day. This is a big deal. I want you to know. I want you to know. ChatGPT now available on iOS, and Android version will be released later. Now that being said, you could this whole time use like the browser on your phone to do like that could have worked this whole time, but it's cool. I like the attitude of let's make apps so that people can use it more commonly, right? So let's take a look at this. OpenAI has released a mobile application for the ChatGPT AI app for iOS. The company will also release an Android version in the near future. I said near because it's going to be near. OpenAI has released a mobile application for. This is zoomed like crap. Someone say something. Help. There we go. So saying that the app syncs your conversations, I love that. Supports voice input, smart, and brings our latest model improvements to your fingertips. The release is likely to see ChatGPT's popularity surge even further. OpenAI plans to release the app to other countries in coming weeks and committed to making improvements. Like real quick, let's talk about this. So like I've noticed that I'm a millennial, right? 90s baby, but I've seen a lot of people who are either Gen Z or baby boomers who use their phone a lot more than millennials do. I've seen millennials tend to prefer like laptops and desktops, still messing with mobiles, but not as much. But I've noticed that Gen Z and baby boomers are always on their phone. Like they're always on their phone and they hey Siri stuff. I'm sorry if that made your phone go off. They hey G Google stuff and hey Alexa stuff, and I'm blowing up everyone's house right now. But you know, that's how they're given inputs on things, right? So I agree that if you get it on the phone so that some normies can actually use this in a way that's like native to them, that's a smart way to innovate. And this might actually make it so that some baby boomers can kind of come up in their technical understanding, because like I love my mom and my dad sincerely, but the way that they Google stuff makes me cringe. Like I can't handle it. It drives me insane. It's like they word stuff in such a weird way. I'm like, I wouldn't have typed that. So I think having AI that can interpret their inputs and actually give them something that is like reasonable, that's cool. And I've personally been using both the Microsoft Edge browser AI. Strangely, it's good actually, and the Chat GPT 3.5 and 4. So uh, I'm just testing all of them to see what each one's particularly good at. But Gundy, what's up, brother? I see you. Effing millennials, get yourself a Gen X friend. Dude, I have so many Gen X friends. Everyone I work with is Gen X. So, yeah, and it is DCA Friday. So, Cryptuber to the moon. So let's take a look at this. So, saying that the app syncs your conversations, I love that actually. You type stuff on your computer, you're out and about, you can still see your convos in the back on your phone. I think that can really be useful. Supports voice input, brings our latest model improvements to your fingertips. The release is likely to see. I'm yawning because I talk and I don't breathe enough. ChatGPT's popularity surged even further. OpenAI plans to release the app to other countries in coming weeks and has committed to making improvements. Cool. No specific information on when Android versions will be released, but it's unlikely it'll take too long because mobile apps are a known pattern. As is the case with the web version, users will have to subscribe to access the latest model, ChatGPT 4. It's another step forward for the company, which is taking over both professional and personal endeavors. This has proven to be a concern for some, with all types of stakeholders taking action against the platform's use. Yeah, interesting. Both Samsung and Apple restrict ChatGPT usage. Why, though? The explosion of AI usage has also led major companies to make changes. Samsung banned its staff from using AI following that's the reason, a data leaked via ChatGPT. The staff member had uploaded sensitive code. What? I see. So here's the deal. Well, let's talk operational security for a second. Don't put passwords and stuff into ChatGPT. Don't do that. Like, give it dummy data. Don't give it real data. This freaking guy put like Samsung company owned code into ChatGPT. That you can't do that, dude. Like, if it's not open source, you shouldn't be doing that. Because you're trusting a third party with code, and your legal department probably didn't even okay that. So yeah, that's not the move. Wrong number. Apple has also restricted its employees from using ChatGPT and other AI tools like Samsung. Apple's worried about sensitive information leaking, and that's reasonable in this instance, right? That's why the stuff you should be asking AI, it should be creative stuff. It should be uh, stuff maybe about finding like different patterns of programming, and then you refactor that code. You shouldn't be trying to get it to do your job for you. These are meant to be tools that kind of unblock you. They're not meant to be tools that replace you. So don't do that. AI regulation now a major talking point. So as AI and ChatGPT become increasingly popular and regulators and individuals are concerned about consequences of the technology, congressional hearings and general worries are at a peak. And OpenAI CEO Sam Altman has asked for the United States to regulate AI. So he's asking for it, same as crypto. Altman has clearly stated there could be negative consequences, including on the economy via the fact that AI could replace human labor in the job market. Not completely, but in large parts, yeah. He also showed concern for how the technology could be used in misinformation campaigns and election interference. And it's going to be. I bet it has been already. Like, this is not conspiracy theory. This is obvious. It's like if you are in a campground and there's some guy who's like, you know, Freddy and Jason, like, and you have a place with chainsaws. It's like the chainsaws could be used to harm individuals. You're like, yeah, really? You think? Like, this is literally a script. Like, people do that in movies. Yikes. As such, there is a global trend towards AI regulation. With respect to this, the EU is particularly forward with some lawmakers, not lawn makers. That's different. That's people who make your front yard look great, approving the EU's AI Act. So, you might be asking, why are we talking about this? This isn't crypto related. It kind of is. All NFTs are really generated from uh, a lot of you know other AIs. ChatGPT is peripheral to that, but ChatGPT is probably able to help expedite crypto programming and innovation, and so it's very, very, very related. I would argue it's not even peripheral. It's completely related technology. So drink your coffee. Don't talk to me about it. So next story here: Uniswap to the moon. So Uniswap contributors propose deploying DEX on Coinbase Layer 2 base. So this is cool. This is good for Ethereum and Coinbase, it looks like. So actually not Ethereum. It's good for Coinbase. And read this, shall we? So 3 influential contributors to Uniswap, the leading decentralized exchange, have initiated discussions to explore a potential deployment on Coinbase's Layer 2 blockchain base. So Base is the name of Coinbase's layer 2. We covered that a while back. The proposed integration, which was brought forward today on Uniswap's governance forum by She256. That's funny. That's a cool name. Michigan Blockchain and GFX Labs would extend user access to Uniswap's decentralized exchange via Base Layer 2 network, contingent upon the approval of an on-chain governance vote. So the group behind the proposal form part of Uniswap's decentralized autonomous organization. GFX Labs, among the trio, will shoulder the responsibility for the technical implementation of the contracts on Base, subject to the proposal approval. Should the proposal go through, it would be a boon, not a poon, a boon. Let's get that word right. For the fledgling Coinbase project, aimed at offering developers a more accessible, cost-effective platform for building decentralized apps on chain. The exchange first introduced a testnet version of Base on February, ahead of an expected mainnet launch later this year. Uniswap's version 3 is of the most widely used decentralized finance applications. With the last 24 hours, the decentralized exchange protocol that facilitates token swaps handled about $500 million in trading volume solely on the Ethereum mainnet. So I was right. It was ETH. Come on. Uniswap V3 is availability. So currently, V3 is available on several EVM compatible chains, such as Ethereum, Celo, BNB chain, which is what I knew about, and additional layer 2 networks like Arbitrum. Now, the contributors are setting their sights on Base on the next potential launch network, or as the next potential launch network. Shortly after Base's testnet launch, the Uniswap Foundation had hinted that the governance process to deploy Uniswap's version 3 on Base would commence, despite Base being in the test phase. Uniswap's founder, Hayden James, voiced his expectations of deploying the DEX on the network via the native canonical bridge operated by Base's core developers. So I think this is bullish, man. This is another decentralized exchange, meaning people can swap coins without having to give custody. They're personally in self-custody the whole time, so that's dope. And yeah, Coinbase's Base seems really promising. I'm liking the details I'm seeing from that. So what you think about that? Let me know. Let's talk about it. Ripple Nipple. We haven't talked about it in a while, and I'm changing my view over here. Boop. So let's talk about Ripple thy nipple. That looks like crap, but I'm still going to read it. So breaking news, Ripple unveils solution for central bank digital currency, CBDC. Play the Darth Vader song, the Imperial March. Ripple, a leading global provider of blockchain-based payment solutions, has announced the launch of its Ripple Nipple CBDC platform. Interesting. The platform is designed to provide central banks and governments and financial institutions with a seamless solution for issuing, managing, and distributing central bank digital currencies and stablecoins. Hey, is anybody surprised to read this right now? Anybody? Crickets? No? Ripple is trying to provide the network for CBDCs. Ripple is trying to provide the technology for central bank digital currencies. No? With more than 90% of countries exploring the developments and implementations of CBDCs to increase financial inclusion, lower costs, and reduce risks associated with domestic and cross-border payment processes, the Ripple CBDC platform is set to revolutionize the financial services industry, according to a press release. So, Ripple CBDC platform, a game changer for financial inclusion? ? Wow. Leveraging the power of blockchain technology used on the XRP ledger, the Ripple CBDC platform enables central banks and governments to bring the next level of digitalization is what I would say, to their financial services while promoting access to millions of people around the world who are unbanked. Yeah, that's an altruistic claim. The platform is developed to address multiple use cases, including wholesale and retail CBDCs on a private ledger and stablecoin issuance. Yeah. Yeah, SoCal guy. I'm with you. Hmm. I'm not surprised to be reading this right now. Furthermore, the enhanced platform offers a range of features, including ledgers technology built on a new private ledger underpinned by the XRPL's core efficient or energy efficient technology. It also enables issuers such as central banks, monetary authorities, or commercial banks to manage the full life cycle of their fiat based digital currency. And you might be asking here, what does full life cycle mean? It means they're able to put expiration dates on your money. If you don't spend it with who they approve, or you don't spend it in the time frame, it go poof. Yeah, how's that for forcing your hand? So full life cycle of their fiat-based digital currency from minting and distribution to redemption and destruction. Man, I hate this. All in a highly secure manner, taking advantage of XRP's ledger. Well, secure for who? Built-in multi-signing capabilities. Okay. Moreover, financial institutions holding significant amounts of digital currency can manage and participate in inter-institutional settlement and distribution function. Yeah, Gundy smells the smoke I'm smelling too. I smell this is technology that people are going to be hurt by, is what it sounds like. Um, does it mean you can make some money in the process? Still, probably if XRP gets okey doked, but do you really want to make money off the back of you know enslaving people? I don't know, man. I don't know, man. Yeah, Gandhi says not as freedom to love Americans. I mean, I prefer my money to be without a side of enslavement personally. So where was I at? Moreover, financial institutions holding significant amounts of digital currency can manage and participate in inter-institutional settlement and distribution functions. Retail and corporate end users will be able to hold their digital currency securely and pay and receive payment for goods and services in the same way other payments and banking apps provide today, only with way more oversight. Commenting on the launch of the Ripple CBDC platform, Sorangel Whips Jr., president of the Republic of Palau, said, "Partnering with Ripple to help create our national digital currency is part of our commitment to lead financial innovation and technologies, which will provide the citizens with greater financial success or greater financial access." Uh, will it? I think a phone with internet already does that with crypto. So yeah, that's a marketing scheme in my opinion. With the Ripple CBDC platform, Ripple is positioning itself as a key player in developing CBDCs and stablecoins. Shake my head. The platform's ability to offer a seamless end-to-end solution for issuing, managing, and distributing digital currencies is likely to attract interest from central banks, governments, and financial institutions worldwide looking to enhance the financial services and promote financial inclusion. So you can clearly see that this is their elevator pitch. Yeah, we're enhancing financial services and promoting financial inclusion. They're trying to pretend that they're relevant, and in trying to pretend that they're relevant, they're also painting this altruistically, but like this reminds me of like if you have, let's say you dated someone and and by the way, this is hypothetical. This is not from my personal experience. Every chick I dated was awesome, but um let's say you dated someone and they went crazy and they treated you wrong and tried to hurt you and all this, and then they disappear and they come back and they're like, "Hey baby, look, I changed." You're like, "Yeah, but I'm married. I don't care." Like even if you say you changed, like I don't need you anymore. Like you're not relevant. Like that's literally what happened with banks. It's like the banks like were our boo. They treated us wrong and stepped all over us. And then we found crypto is able to meet a lot of these, needs without the bank abusing us. Now the banks are like, "See, baby, I love you. I changed. And it's like, I'm good. like I'm okay. I wish you well, but I'm okay. It's like that. It's like, nah, I'm married with a boo. I don't need you anymore. I wish you well. Hope you find a boo, but I ain't the one. So speaking of controversy, shall we? And the last one was pretty controversial. Ledger. We talked about it earlier this week, but there's more to the story, and we said it would keep probably coming out. So Ledger clarifies how its firmware works. Oh, hold up. God, he says, "Oh, just wait till we find out how our own administrations have been treating us." Yeah, yeah, and I hope there becomes more clarity here, man. I mean, it's not even bipartisan. It's just like uh, we're at a point in history where we can break some of the old patterns of aristocratic class and serf class. Like we can fix this. People can mind their own business, right? And if you want to have an entire army of you know agents to do your work, you can get a bunch of robots and AIs, and you don't need humans anymore. And frankly, having a clone army is probably more effective than having a bunch of humans who are gonna have certain days where they feel sassy. So I'm just saying, like, you don't need to enslave humans anymore to have that power you were seeking. You can leave humans alone now. Thanks, appreciate it. Let's keep reading here. Ledger clarifies how its firmware works after deleted tweet controversy. So, developers say third-party apps can't access Ledger users' keys without the device owner's consent. On May 18th, crypto hardware wallet provider Ledger clarified how its firmware works after a controversial May 17th tweet was deleted by the company. Yeah, that's a bad look. The deleted tweet, which Ledger said was written by a customer support agent. That's fair. Okay. Basically, it wasn't leadership who made it, and this person probably got slapped upside the egg. Had stated that it was possible for Ledger to write firmware that could extract users' private keys. Yeah, that's scary, dude. Don't say that now. Uh, you either need and want to be governed fully, or you'd like to govern yourself. It will be time to pick soon. Yeah, and that's real, dude. Like, you either believe in self responsibility, or you believe in big daddy government giving you your allowance and telling you not to go across the street. Like, yeah, but it's like I'm an adult. Like I can go across the street if I want to, and I'll look both ways. I don't need you to tell me that. I got it now. Thanks, appreciate it. Yeah, Codebug, peace out, bro. Thanks for popping on. Ledger support here said, you may have seen a tweet from our Ledger support account being shared regarding Ledger firmware updates. Unfortunately, in our attempt to clarify how Ledger and all wallets work with the firmware, a customer support agent posted a tweet with confusing wording. Yeah, my only mix here is like, I don't know that it's a good look to throw someone under the bus. It's better just to own it, but it's okay. People gonna be people. Ledger Chief Technology Officer Charles Guillemet clarified in a new Twitter thread that the wallet's operating system, or OS, requires the consent of the users anytime a private key is touched by the OS. In other words, the OS shouldn't be able to copy the device's private key without the user's consent. Though Guillemet also said that using a ledger does require a minimal amount of trust. It does. And if you're afraid of that, you can use paper wallets. I mean, this whole time you've been able to do that. So the original tweet from a Ledger customer service stated, technically speaking, it is and always has been possible to write firmware that facilitates key extraction. You have always trusted Ledger not to deploy such firmware, whether you knew it or not. Yeah. So the tweet ignited a firestorm of controversy on Twitter, as many users accused the company of misrepresenting the security of its wallet. Critics shared an alleged Ledger post from November as stated a firmware update cannot extract the private keys from the secure element. So people are basically holding them to the fire for just conflicting statements. I think that's fine. You should have your narrative technically correct. So what it's saying is that our current, really, instead of a firmware update cannot extract, what it means to say is our current firmware does not extract private keys from the secure element. But if you do a firmware update and that was slapped in there, that could happen, right? So that's good. Good to note. So implying the company contradicted itself. Though the deleted tweet fueled the controversy, the matter first sparked on May 16th when the company unveiled a new Ledger Recover service that allows users to back up their secret recovery phrase by splitting it into 3 shards and sending it to different data custody services. The deleted tweet was in response to the release of the new feature. So, yeah, this is interesting. So the new Twitter thread from Guillemets states that the wallet's firmware or OS is an open platform in the sense that anyone can write their own app and load it on the device. Before being allowed on the Ledger Manager software, apps are first evaluated by the team to make sure they aren't malicious and don't have security flaws. According to Ledger, even after an app is approved, the OS does not allow it to use the private key for a network it isn't made for. That's good. The company raised the example of Bitcoin apps not being allowed to use the device's private keys uh, and vice versa for Ethereum apps and Bitcoin keys. In addition, every time a private key is used by the app, Ledger says the OS requires users to confirm their consent to use the key. This seems to imply that third-party apps installed on Ledger shouldn't be able to use a person's private keys without the user's first consenting to its use. Guillemets also confirmed that this system is part of the current OS, which could theoretically be changed if Ledger were to become dishonest or if an attacker were to somehow gain control of the company's computers. If the wallet wants to implement a backdoor, there are many ways to do it. In the random number generation, in the cryptographic library, in the hardware itself, it's even possible to create signatures so that private key can be retrieved only by monitoring the blockchain. Interesting. Yes, the Ledger chief technology officer dismissed this concern, stating using a wallet requires a minimal amount of trust. If your hypothesis is that your wallet provider is the attacker, you're doomed. He went on to say that the only way users can protect themselves against a dishonest wallet developer is to build their own computer, compiler, wallet stack, node, and synchronizer, which the executive said is a lifetime journey. I mean, that's kind of a coy response, but I agree with his statement. Like, technically, you don't know if like the computer you're using doesn't have a hack on it that is transmitting your video feed. Like, technically, you don't know a lot of things, and it's really difficult for you to confirm that that stuff's not the case. So, like, what are you going to do? Just not make decisions? Like, those are good questions. Rival hardware wallet provider Grid Plus has offered to open source its firmware in an attempt to attract Ledger users. On the other hand, Guillemets stated that open sourcing firmware would not protect against dishonest wallet provider, since the user would have no way of knowing whether the published code was actually running on the device. Fair enough. So this is a big crock of conversation that was opened up. So I will personally be looking at a lot of different crypto wallets and giving a sincere, security focused eye. I still think ledgers are secure for small time normal use. I would like to see if there isn't maybe a better methodology though. Like let's say if you're mining Bitcoin at scale and you have like 40 Bitcoin or something on a wallet. Like, I mean, I personally wouldn't let that happen, but let's say that happened. Um, would Ledger be a good use for that type of money? That's really my question I'm trying to answer here. So I will be doing this security research and joining this conversation deeply with a lot of other engineers and let you know what I find, because I want even the small guy to have the same information to protect their family's wealth that like a big business might have. So anyways, that's our show for the day. Thank you so much for joining us here on Crypto and Coffee. I'm the Data Lord here on Decentralized TV, and keep calm and huddle on. Make sure you DCA Friday. Have a good weekend. We have a Discord if you're interested in jumping in, asking questions. I'm active in there, so if you ever ask a question in water cooler, I'll answer it. So Jaime should be back on Monday, I believe so, and hopefully you'll be back on Monday to hang out with me and Jaime. So, what are we feeling? We gonna rock out today? We gonna do it? Huh? We gonna rock out? Maybe we're gonna rock out. Probably gonna rock out. Have a good weekend. Show's over. Get out of here. Go. All right, see you later.